Well, it's all love all across South Africa, but right now we're talking about Small Business Friday, an initiative that started last year through Nedbank, through which they actively partner up and support small businesses across the country, and I think that's making huge strides in contributing to our national economy. Now, this morning we're talking to young budding entrepreneur Aviv Merkin, who's the owner of Forever Love, and it's great to have you in our studio. How are you?
I'm good, and you?
Very, very well, thank you. Tell me about Forever Love and why you decided to start this business. What it is that you do there?
Well, basically, what happened was I grew up with my mother being an artist, so she's a painter. My grandfather was a great sculptor in Israel. And it's always been in my blood. And I tried to ignore it growing up, because my dad's an accountant, and I was like, you have to get a proper job and everything. And I guess it just got to the point where I couldn't ignore it anymore. And I started making this stuff. I mean, I started with it's called polymer clay.
Yes.
And basically, I started with this at about 3 years old because my mom was making beads or something, because that was the fashion back then. And I started making little animals and little cute things, and it was just always there. I'd get bored or I'd be studying, whatever, and I'd start making the polymer clay. And so, it just kind of carried on and developed itself into the jewelry.
So actually, you started this business at 3 years old, at least thinking about the idea. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Okay, cool. So tell me about the pieces. I mean, what inspires them? I was telling her right now that her earrings and her pieces look like sweets. Like, I want to lick them. But, obviously not edible. But what inspires the dessert-looking jewelry?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's just the texture of the clay, that it looks like fondant, which is that icing. But other than that, it started, with basically roses and hearts. And then it's just you get inspired. So, for example, you'll see an owl or something and it looks really cute, and then I'll make like the owl earrings, or it just kind of develops itself. That's what I love about it so much, is it inspires to create other things,
We'll talk about the success of the business just now, but I really want to see how you get to making these pieces, because they're so tiny but so cute. It must take an immense amount of skill and steady hands and focus. So show me what you do. So you've got some polymer in your hands.
So basically you have to heat it up a bit and mix it. Otherwise, so for example, I've mixed this color. But even if I'm not going to mix the color, I still have to heat it up. Otherwise, what will happen is it'll crack, let's say after it's fired in the oven.
So each piece is handmade?
Exactly.
So you need to take the polymer and heat it, and you don't have like a giant polymer heater machine?
No. Okay. What I know that they used to do with polymer clay is they roll it through, when they want huge quantities, they roll it through a pasta machine. Wow. So it comes through in tubes. But I'm working on a small scale, so no need for a pasta machine.
Beautiful. All right.
Okay, so basically you'll start off by making a ball about that size.
The camera needs to get nice and close because these are tiny.
Okay, then you'll roll it into a sausage.
Into a sausage?
Yes, not an edible one. And then you'll pinch the edges.
Okay.
Okay, now once you've pinched the edges, you'll see it's not necessarily perfect, but that's the beauty of handmade. You'll roll it like that.
My goodness.
Okay. So now you've got the middle of the rose.
Are you seeing this?
Now you'll make the other balls slightly smaller and try get them around the same size. You'll pinch them into like a petal. I mean, it's basically the same as making fondant. It feels the same kind of texture, it's just not as melty. And you'll just attach each petal.
You can actually see it taking shape. Is this a job that's not for people with big hands? Like, for instance, I think I've got Shrekky kind of hands.
I don't know if it's got to do with the size of your hands. I mean, the funny thing is everyone always says to me, is your eyes, don't they hurt? Can you see? Do you use a magnifying glass? It's like, no, it is your hands. Everything is your hands. And I suppose that's the part that makes it really difficult, is that it's such finite work that your hands do get tensed up and it does get a bit sore. But it's like with any craft that it does take a bit of skill, but I think that you can learn it. Like,
look at this. It's amazing to see the flower taking shape. While you're doing that, tell me about the success of your business so far. I mean, when did you start, and what successes have you seen so far?
Well, so far what basically happened is I started properly, as in I really went, full steam ahead, quit my job and everything, when I was, like last year, about November time. And then I went straight into markets. I just thought, I'm not giving up. I'm doing this now properly. Wow. So I went straight into markets, and I did that for a couple of months, and then I realized, there's a bit, because kids love it, and adults love it as fun, but they also want something a bit more sturdy, something that lasts a bit longer, and that's what made me go into the sterling silver as well.
Okay, so you've got a piece there to show me how you make the rings very quickly?
But quickly, I just want to say that, so I made the rose there, and then you fire it in the oven, and then it feels hard.
Fantastic.
So it's
Lovely.
durable, waterproof, everything. Don't eat it. Okay, now with regards to the silver, this is how it comes in its raw form. Okay?
Yes.
Then what happens is it gets melted down into a kind of little, little block. Then you'll either roll it out into plate,
Yes.
or you'll roll it out into wire. So it comes like about that, and then you'll roll it until you have proper wire. And that's how you make the rings. That's how you make anything you want. And the beauty of the plate is then you draw on what you want, which is what I do with the pieces over here, if you can see, or even just the piece I'm wearing now, which is one of my latest creations.
Wow.
So you'll draw on what you want, you'll cut it out with this beauty of a saw blade, which is it's terrifying. But yeah.
It looks like something from Saw. But anyway, very cool. Some advice for young budding entrepreneurs out there. What would you say is your best advice for them to be successful like you have been?
You don't give up. You just don't give up. If it's something that you really love and you really want and you really believe it's going to work, you just don't give up.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got rejection loads of times, but I've also had people like, oh wow, and they really appreciate it.
Yeah.
And it's just about, you push.
Yeah. Quickly, where can people get a hold of you if they want to get some of these beautiful pieces?
Okay, well, there's my Facebook page, which is, facebook.com/foreverlovehandmade, or my website, www.foreverlove.co.za. But I also sell I've got my Polly McKillay stuff is in Hello Again in Long Street.
Okay.
And yeah, I do sell online and stuff at Hello Pretty.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us about Forever Love.
Of course.
Really inspired, and I hope that you, young budding entrepreneurs out there, have been inspired. So why don't we as South Africans support our small businesses? Vote small business with your wallet. Go buy them, buy their stuff, support them by using their services. Visit their shops, come and check them out. You know, I think I'm actually going to go to the shop and actually see your work there. But right now, Ewan is standing by with 3 more inspirational women as we celebrate Women's Day.
Make more jobs for more people happen every time you support, visit and spend at a small business. Partnering for growth for greater South Africa. Make things happen. Nedbank.